Well, she tells us that her son is terrified to go on the highway and that she fears there will be long-standing repercussions from the stress of watching her get pulled over on Tuesday afternoon. Sacramento police tells us they recognize they made a mistake. 8-year-old Brandon plays football on a Sacramento youth team. His mom, Shawnice Stewart, was driving him to practice Tuesday afternoon when she says everything went wrong. Stewart says she was driving on Business 80 when she noticed a Sacramento police officer behind her.
I kept the same speed, just driving normally. I noticed that he turned on his lights. So then I moved over to the left thinking, oh, you know what, since now I see more cop cars behind him, I'm just going to get out of their way, let them go past. Maybe they have somewhere to go.
Then she says she realized there was a helicopter above.
I looked in the rearview mirror, and that's when I noticed that the police officers had their guns out. They had them aimed towards the car, so I listened to their instructions to toss my keys out the window, open my door with my left hand, and get out slowly with my hands in the air. I just followed instructions, but I also told him just stay in the car.
She says ultimately officers told her they'd made a mistake.
And they did tell me that he fit the description of a suspect that they've been watching for 2 years. His hair texture, his white shirt, which he had on his practice gear. And I'm like, really? My 8-year-old baby fit the description of a suspect you were looking for? It just didn't make sense to me.
Sacramento police declined an interview Thursday, but say they're investigating what happened and reviewing body camera video from its officers. But the stress of the situation was too much, Stewart says, at 9 months pregnant.
I'm still worried. I'm still scared.
She knows this will take time for her son to recover from and wants a formal apology from the department about the ordeal, but believes even that won't undo what they've gone through.
What kid wants to live in fear of a police officer possibly stopping him in the future and doing something to him? Now it's like, is this going to happen every time the police approach me? Is this how they deal with young children, young men, young, minorities?
And we have requested video of that traffic stop from the Sacramento Police Department. The police department telling us late tonight that they have been in contact with the mother, writing to us that they admit that they made a mistake and say they recognize the impact police interactions can have on the community.
I proceeded to the right shoulder. I rolled my windows down immediately, and I told my son, just sit here calmly. This is going to be probably a traffic stop. Don't take your seatbelt off. Just sit there and just, participate. But then when I noticed that my windows were down and I looked in my rearview mirror, I noticed that they had guns drawn and they had instructions for me to then toss my keys out of the window and open the door with my left hand, proceed to get out and put my hands in the air and then walk towards them. I immediately broke down because I didn't know or understand what was going on, nor did I do anything. I'm 9 months pregnant. I'm just simply taking my son to the football practice. I'm like, I didn't break any laws or anything. So at this moment, I'm confused. I just immediately looked back. It was like, go back towards the car. And I was screaming, my baby, that's my baby. My 8-year-old, that's my son. And then the officer then kind of told him, it's okay to come here so I can explain it to both of you guys while we pulled you guys over. He then told us that, one of the other officers then told us that, they pulled us over because they've been watching a suspect for the last 2 years, and the suspect's known to take them on high speed. So that's why they told me to toss my keys out the window, and that this person is armed, known to carry a gun, saying like, my baby, my 8-year-old, you guys confused my baby with a suspect, like whether it was a teenager or an adult, like he's nothing but 3'10", maybe 4 feet, if anything. And he just looks like a kid. He had his football practice gear on. So I was still confused on how you guys made that mistake, because he has a football gear on with pads and he's little, So I just kept saying that, and they just kept saying, this is protocol. We're sorry you had to go through this, but it's pretty much done, So I'm scared for him on how he's going to be taking this in the future and how this is going to affect him in the future, because that just showed him that he's not always safe, that they will think he's a suspect. And at 8 years old, that's just too young for a kid that's so innocent to feel that way, to feel that they are a suspect. And for him to hear the police explain it in that way, he just was scared and he kept repeating it like, Mom, really? They thought I was an adult. They thought I was dangerous. Like, it didn't make me feel at ease.